Hi and welcome back everyone, I hope that you're well. This week we're going to look at different turns that we can do as part of our gymnastics performance. We're building up our gymnastics medium-term scheme of work. We're on week 4, so we're going to look at different parts of the body that we can use to execute different types of turns. We're going to give you the key technical points of each turn. We're going to look at how that actually manifests itself within your PE lesson, and as always we'll share our 3 top tips at the end to help your teaching go even further. At this point, it's worth dispensing with any images that we might have of children beautifully gliding elegantly across the hall. Because we're working with children, the movements won't look anything like this, nor will they look anything like this, unless the children are incredibly experienced and coordinated. So if it's not going to look like those examples, what is it going to look like? We're going to focus specifically on 6 different parts of the body, using each of them to turn. We can ask children to turn with their feet by placing one foot behind the other so that their legs are twisted, like that, and then asking them to turn their body so that their feet become untwisted. Children can sit on their bum, lifting their knees to their chest and then using their arms to move their body so that they pivot around. We can also ask children to use their stomach or tummy by lying in their front, almost like the skydiver position, and again using their hands to rotate their body as they move around. These next 3 are a little bit more difficult. We can ask children to spin on their back, so they're going to lie down on their back, again knees up to their chest, and they're going to use their hands to push themselves around, spinning like a turtle on their shell. Encourage children to use 1 or 2 knees by getting in the crawling position as if they're on all 4s and then tilting their body forward so that they're on their knees and then using their hands to again guide their body around. And finally, if they're comfortable with it, they can use their hand by placing one hand on the floor and then doing a bunny hop to the left or the right whilst keeping their hand on the floor. So now we've got our key technical points. How does this actually look within your PE lesson? Start by getting the mats out, and when children make their way over, share the expectations that you've shared in previous weeks. This helps to keep children safe and boosts the amount of learning that can take place. We're then going to demonstrate each of the turns with the key technical points and give children 3 or 4 minutes to practice each of those turns. During this time, we can move around the class, searching for shining examples that we can use to showcase to the rest of the children. We can also double check that the children are doing these movements safely and with enough care and quality. As in previous weeks, this is going to take up about 1/3 of the lesson, about 20 minutes or so. We now move on to the performance phase, which is going to take up the remaining 2/3 of the lesson. Children are going to build on their performance by starting with a balance, going into a jump, transitioning into a roll, and then picking 2 turns that they've practiced this week before finishing with their ending balance. Encourage children to experiment with which 2 turns work well together to see if they can link it together in a smooth, silky combination. And as always, here are our 3 top tips to help your teaching go even further. We've all been on one of these in a previous life, and going on it for an extended period of time just makes us feel sick. This is because when we turn repeatedly in one direction, the fluid in the ear does the same, which gives us the sensation of being dizzy. We can counter this by asking children to turn one way, and when they do another turn, then turn the opposite way. We can then spend less time being dizzy and more time learning. Our second tip is to ask children to experiment combining different turns. We might go from our foot onto our tummy like we've seen in this example, or we might be more creative and try out several of the different possible combinations. Experiment, be creative and see what works. And finally, we can differentiate by asking children to pick how much they're going to turn. Sometimes it might be less than a quarter. Some children might be happy doing a half turn. For other children, they maybe even be able to do a full turn. For some that are very skilled, might be able to do multiple turns. Give children the freedom to practice and push themselves further whilst remaining safe. Thank you for watching everybody. I hope that you found this week's video useful. If you did, then please like and then share the video with anybody else that you feel may benefit from it. And as always, remember to subscribe so that you can catch next week's video. I'll see you then.